Okay, here's some more mobility for our midsection for the gonna have a baby routine. And for what it's worth, like this is, my friend asked me for these, and so I'm directing them in my head for a pregnant person looking to hold a baby without pain and to get a baby out without unnecessary pain. How about that? But it's good for all of us. This movement is good for all of us. Okay, so I'm gonna take my one hand and just wrap it around my, that middle where I keep those ribs in. And then I'm gonna let my shoulder drop down a little bit. And then I'm gonna lift that shoulder up. So my shoulder is what's moving through space. But can you tell that it's my middle, it's my core that's doing the movement, right? Like I'm twisting, my pelvis is staying still and I'm just twisting through my ribs. Oh, my one arm gets tired doing that, so I'll do it on the other arm. I'm just reaching around and again, I'm dropping my shoulder and I'm lifting my shoulder. But the work that's being done is a twist in the midsection. And I know maybe some of you have gone to yoga classes or exercise classes or heard like you're not supposed to twist if you have a baby or if you're pregnant. But it's not, I'm not putting undue pressure. I'm not like squeezing down into my abdomen. I'm just moving it. And we should be able to move whether we're pregnant or not. Right, so there's that. I'm gonna put that hand down. And then here's another way. So I'm gonna anchor my upper body. My ribs stay in, right? My lower back stays relaxed because you can see the curve in my lower back, right? And then I'm gonna lift one leg up and lower it down. So this lift and lower is the twist from the bottom end. So what I found with having my first son, my first baby, was I was so stiff. Like the baby never dropped, my water never broke on its own. I was so stiff from holding all the time. I had back pain for decades, even leading into having him. I was a runner and a worker and a hiker and everything, and an obsessive exerciser. And I just did not know how to release. All right, I'm gonna face the camera because I want you to see my legs here. So I'm gonna lift the other leg. And so there's different ways to lift your legs up. And like this is very often something that we use, right? We lean over and the leg goes out to the side. So we're not peeing on the hydrant here. It's more like a piston. See how my leg is going straight up. The one that's moving is going straight up and the one that's holding is staying completely perpendicular to the ground. And so then you're using your core and your hips to lift and move your pelvis. One other thing about this that's really common is when we lift, we tend to, right? So my spine is moving all these funky ways to make me lift. Our spine just stays in its natural curve, and the muscles around your core are what lift it and move it. I'm gonna sit on I'll sit on the couch. You can sit in a chair, you can sit on the floor. I'm just gonna sit kind of I have a low couch here. And you can cross your shins or you can have your feet straight, however, it works for the way you're sitting. And then you twist. All right, twist one way. Let's twist just one way at a time. Notice how I'm not using my hands. A lot of times we go and we crank into the twist, and it just, it all just goes right into the joints of our spine then, which there's really no benefit. There's actually a lot of detriment to that. All right, so then the other way, right? So when I'm sitting, my hips stay anchored, and my torso moves. And all these muscles in my core, my back, I'm working all these muscles, right? You can even go teapot and teapot. And you can go teapot and add the arm, right? It's super helpful, especially in the beginning, to have the door behind you, the wall behind you, and the arm. And one thing I'm being really mindful of is I'm not, like as I twist, I have a tendency to, see how I did that? I slid and kind of lifted, and I slid and kind of lifted. And it lets me twist farther, but again, it takes my ribs out of their place, and it puts the twist right into my spine. So the spine, the discs itself, they don't need to be, they need movement, but they don't need compression and torque necessarily. There's a right amount and there's too much. And there's also not enough. Like we have to, in order for the fluids in our spinal fluids to move, once you're like into your 20s, you have to do it through movement. It's the only way. All right, so get your moves on, and I'll be back for more. Hopefully you'll be back for more.